You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that's one, and that's more like it. Celtics knocking down threes, defending on one end, sharing the basketball on the other end. One trend continued for the Celtics in Game 3 versus the Knicks. One trend also ended with the Knicks never getting close in the second half. Welcome to our latest Locked On Celtics playoff postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer, national show host, ESPN Radio, satellite radio, watch Celtics games on a black and white TV as a kid. Yeah, we had color TV too, but in my bedroom, it was a small black and white TV that helped me watch the Celtics on a channel out of Hartford, Connecticut. You are locked on with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to every Celtics playoff game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. On our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to talk about the Celtics getting back in the series, still down a game, but Pritchard was terrific. Derrick White was terrific. Balanced attack, and Al Horford, yes, he's long in the tooth. Yes, he's approaching 40, but yes, he's still got a lot in the tank. We do want to hear from you. Our everydayers and our first-timers, join the conversation, watching live with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. First, thank you. Hit that comment button. Don't be a stranger, and join the Celtics conversation. Give us your one random thought on the Celtics' first win of this series against the Knicks. The visiting team has held serve so far over the first 3 games. Well, the Celtics led wire to wire. One tie early on. They took a 10-point lead in the first quarter and went from there. Opened up on a 7-2 run. And the Celtics, with the ball in the final possession of the first quarter, near turnover, got it back with about 6.2 to go. Pritchard knocked down a baseline jumper. Pritchard 7 points in the first quarter. And the Celtics just 2 turnovers in the first quarter, and they were knocking down threes. 6 of 7 from behind the three-point line. I think they started 4 of 4, but 58% overall and up by 16 after the first quarter. Mike Breen said it in the second half. The Knicks got it to 20, but that's as close as they got. They never made this really a game in the second half. They trailed by 20, but they never got it in the teens. They never got it below 15. And Tom Thibodeau, talking with the media, talking with ABC TV just before the start of the fourth quarter, you know what they wanted to do. They wanted to go on a run. Not their best run of the game, but all of a sudden they knocked down a couple of threes, including 3 in a row at the start of the fourth quarter. Brunson hit a 3 within 20, timeout, 3 threes, 9-3 start. Brunson up to 25 at that point in time. And I think Joe Mazzulla used his timeouts a lot better than he did in the first 2 games. A lot of these timeouts are structured, but the Knicks never went on a 10-0 run. I think the best run they had was 8 straight. And they never got it below 20 in the second half. And the Celtics were balanced. Yes, they knocked down threes. You figured at some point in this series they were going to knock down threes. They were 50% overall. And they've shot well from distance at Madison Square Garden during the regular season and now their first game at MSG. And the crowd, raucous, yeah. But even in that first quarter, you never really thought that the Celtics were intimidated by it or were going to be affected by it at all.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Payton Pritchard was terrific, and the Celtics absolutely needed it. Al Horford again in the starting lineup. 34-plus minutes, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 on the three-point line. Horford had 15 points, 1 rebound shy of a double-double. And he had 2 block shots, 8 block shots total for the Celtics. Physical play, contact on block shots, yes. But Horford terrific in the starting lineup. Porzingis played almost 20 minutes. 0 of 3 from the field, 5 of 6 at the line. And Doris Burke said it looks like he hasn't had minutes to really catch his breath and kind of get going for the Celtics. But I think he got the time on the floor in the second half, and that could prove vital as long as he's healthy. And Pritchard, again, just from the get-go, knocking down shots. And it was great to see, and it was needed. Celtics never trailed in the first half and led by as many as 31 on a couple of occasions in that third quarter. And then 6-minute mark up by 23, 104-81. Holiday knocked down a three to put the Celtics up 24. And just, again, balanced. Mike Breen said at the end, Celtics responding. It was a championship response for the Celtics. And I'll tell you what right now. The trend that continued was the Celtics jumped out to a big lead. But over the previous two games, we know, well chronicled, plenty of talk about. And the Knicks got back into the game in the second half and ultimately won the first two in Boston. The trend of coming back in the second half did not happen, and the Celtics didn't allow it to happen. Now, did they continue to put up threes? You're going to live and die by it. But there were a couple of threes in that fourth quarter. Tatum, again, gets into that mode where it's just dribble, dribble, dribble. And Tatum dribbling into a second defender, it turns into a turnover 50% of the time, more often than not. And Tatum had an okay game. But you're talking about Jayson Tatum right now, 8 of 20, but 5 of 9 on the three-point line, ended up with 22. And there was a three-point attempt in that fourth quarter, hit the backboard. Everyone sort of flat-footed. Tatum ran inside the three-point line, got the loose ball, and went to the rim. But that three, and they alluded to it with Mike Breen, Doris Burke, Richard Jefferson. I think it was Doris Burke who said, no one touched the ball on a particular possession. He took the shot with 14 on the shot clock. You had a huge lead at that point in time. Move the ball around. Get something going to the basket. And they did have opportunities getting to the basket more. Missed some layups early on, which I thought, this is, not great looks, but, maybe contact, bumped here, off their path to the basket. Pritchard missed one. Pritchard got fouled and had 2 free throws when he was passing the ball and ended up passing it right to a Knicks player when he was in the paint area near the rim. That was in the first half. But overall, you'll take it. Celtics shot 48% from the field overall. The Knicks were just 40%. But I ask you this as we get into your comments. At what point did you start to feel comfortable? At what point did you know the Celtics were going to take it and go from there? And at any point on Saturday in the Celtics' lopsided Game 3 victory where they won wire to wire, did you get this thought? The Celtics, at the very least, should be up 2-1 in the series? But if you really wanted to get greedy in your thought process, the Celtics right now, I don't like doing this because, things had played out differently in the first two games. Well, the Knicks could have come home, backs to the wall, and played with more of an inspired effort and not been down by as many as 31 on their home floor in Game 3. But even if the Celtics had won split at home after the Knicks lost, they'd be up 2-1 with one more in New York and then back to Boston for Game 5. And I think there's an advantage for the Celtics right now with Game 4 Monday night. Again, the crowd, hey, what's to cheer about? Now, they tried and they got the defense chance going and things like that at Madison Square Garden early on in the fourth quarter when they knocked down 3 threes. Brunson had 2 of them. They were into it, but the Celtics were just not on this day in Game 3 going to allow the Celtics to get back, or the Knicks rather, get back into the game. And I love the fact that the lead never got below 20 in the second half. I think the Celtics have a real advantage with Game 4 Monday night in New York. It's not a Thursday. It's not a Friday at the start of the weekend. It's not on a Saturday. It's on a Monday. And if the Celtics get up by 20 or more, even if it's 15 or more in the first half Monday night, I think it's going to be awfully hard for the Knicks to get back in it. Now, does the day of the week matter? Maybe not, but it is on a Monday night. Right now, Celtics, best case scenario, you're 2-2 going home for Game 5 this upcoming Wednesday night. 5 players in double figures, Pritchard off the bench leading the way. 23s. And we do numbers of the night normally in segment number 2. But one of those things for the Celtics, high assist total, high 3-point total in terms of makes, and they made 20, but 23 assists. That might be the most assists they've had in a playoff game so far. But on the other side of that, the assist to turnover ratio, right? 23 assists total. Tatum had 7 to lead the way. Jaylen Brown had 5 assists. But it was balanced and they shared the basketball. And on the other side of that, Derrick White, I thought, did a terrific job handling the ball, push pace when he could. 8 turnovers total for the Celtics. Love it. Love those numbers. 23s, yes, but the 23 assists, love that number. And that's 2 turnovers per quarter. And that's about what you want to see. Let's hit the comments. With us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit that comment button and join the conversation. The real Darrell starts us off. Don't let us get one. Yeah, and the Celtics have one. Now you want to be greedy. Just like the Knicks in game 1. You won game 1. Don't be happy with a split in Boston. No, go get game 2, and they did. Similar, game 1, game 2. Fall behind big, and then come back, take the lead late, and hold on to the lead with a defensive stand. But now the Celtics, don't let them win a game. Well, 3-0 is a lot different than 2-0 in a playoff series. We know the numbers. But the Celtics get one. That's the old Kevin Millar line for the Red Sox back in 2004. Down 3-0 to the Yankees. Don't let us get one. And you've got one with Pritchard having a terrific game off the bench. Does Tatum explode in game 4? Because, again, this is sort of, and it's not just Tatum, but it's Brown too. You're down 2-0 and you lose the first 2 at home. That's legacy. That's something that's going to stick to the resume for Jayson Tatum for a long time if you lose the series after having home court advantage. But now you can get it back to 2-2, and if you can have a signature game in game 4, Tatum really hasn't had that yet. He gets his, but where's a 40-point performance for Jayson Tatum in the playoffs so far? Hasn't come. Maybe it doesn't, but it could. Maybe it comes in game 4. So again, the real Darrell hit the nail right on the head. Don't let us get one. Well, that's happened. Now a day off in New York on Sunday, regroup, get ready to go. What do the Knicks do? I mean, you've been down 20+ in each of the first 3 games. You're still up in the series, and you've got the next game at home. But those trends for the Knicks right now, the Celtics have been the better team for 3 quarters plus in each of the first 3 games. Wire-to-wire victory in game 3. And the Celtics, I think, again, needed a victory just like they got in game 3. Akram, now that's how we play. Yeah, the game was clean. 4th could have been better. It could have, but the 4th quarter is tough in games like that. Again, they did not allow them to go on an extended run where it was like 15-2 or 17-4, and they never got the deficit below 20. I think that speaks volumes. You won each of the first 3 quarters, and you had 71 points at the half, up 71-46. That was a big lead at the half. And the Celtics closed strong at the end of the first, did the same throughout the second quarter. And then you still extend the lead. Granted, it's just 1 point, but that still extended the lead in that third quarter. You scored 19 points in the fourth quarter, final couple of minutes, bench on the floor. They're kind of instructed, hey, don't really put shots up here. So, yeah, fourth quarter could have been better, but still, you win by 20+. The real Darrell, Celtics are getting wide open looks they missed in game 1 and game 2. Yeah, and that's where I think, where's the adjustment by the Knicks? Because the Celtics, different than the first 2 games, they're still getting those open looks. And in game 3, different, they knocked them down. A lot of times they were going for that home run and that final nail in the coffin in the first 2 games, just staying on that 3-point line. But 25 of 100 on threes in the first 2 games, and you knocked down 20 of 40. You've taken 140 threes in the first 3 games of this series. PK tattoos. Massacre from start to finish. Yeah, and you know what? You want another one. You don't want to go home down 3-1 for game 5. You don't. Because then you would be going home for game 5. You need to win that one. Now it's 3-2 going back to New York. And you're going to have to win 3 in a row in this series. Really. And you don't want them getting to the point where they come to Madison Square Garden or TD Garden in the coming games where they've got one more win to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. You want to keep them at 2 wins. Can you win 4 in a row? Absolutely. But you have to maintain opening tip all the way throughout the game. They never relented in game number 3. The real Darrell, getting points in transition, open up the offense. Yeah, and they got to continue to do that. McTaggart, I believe, at 5:23 or so, I think it was Drew, hit a huge 3. I was reasonably confident before that, but that was the dagger. Yeah, and that was the 18th 3 of the game when Holiday hit a 3, and Holiday had good defense on Brunson. Yeah, Holiday, 18th 3 of the game, that put him up by 24, and then Tatum also hit a 3. With under 3.5, it was a 23-point lead. And then Horford hit the 20th 3 of the game for the Celtics to make it 115-89. So, yeah, that 3 by the run wasn't coming. Because the Knicks, although they hit 3 threes early on in the fourth quarter, that was sort of the barrage. And you're not going to beat the Celtics when you allow them to make 23s and you go 5 of 25. And really, it could have been 15 or more threes. You've got to be within striking distance in terms of the makes. And the Knicks, I don't think, have that volume. Can they get it in one game? Yes. Are they going to do that consistently over a series? No. And I think we saw that. PK Tattoos, defense, key. Yes. I liked how Joe called a timeout right after they stopped playing defense once. Yeah, and he got into Tatum once or twice. I think it was when Tatum dribbled into the sideline and had a second defender there and lost the basketball, and Mazzulla got on him pretty good. We're going to continue with your comments, and we'll get into more numbers of the night. And again, I think the fact that Game 4 is on a Monday night, that's advantage to the Celtics for Monday night as they're going to try to even up the series at 2 games apiece and hold serve on the road. Locked On Celtics postcast, talking about the Celtics Game 3 victory against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, presented by DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what time it is. It's playoff season, which means big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing the heat with a slam dunk deal for DoorDash members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members score a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day. Just place an order of $20 or more. Use code Wingstop 50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, and totally free. Offer valid noon to midnight the day after the game. Terms do apply. Are you ordering wings and reliving the highlights? Imagine being rewarded with free food just because an NBA player goes off for 50 in a playoff game. So here's the play. Sign up for Dash Pass. Unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When a player scores 50 or more in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tenders combo from Wingstop the next day with a $20 or more order and code Wingstop50. That's Dash Pass, your door to more savings, more flavor, and more ways to win. Again, terms do apply. Locked On Celtics postcast also presented by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you are ready to play. You are ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports, College Football 25, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have your console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with if you're taking it with you, if your kids are bringing their games, ready to go wherever you plug in. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Lockdown to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. Again, that's Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Really in the third quarter for me, because the Celtics got it up to 31 on several occasions and end up winning, still going away. 20-plus point victory. And again, number of the night for the Celtics. 6th time in their first 8 playoff games where they hold their opponent below 100 points. And in that fourth quarter, you're just thinking there's no way, with how this game's played out through the first 36, 42 minutes, where the Knicks all of a sudden were going to get stops on one end and then shots and made shots at the other end, including on the three-point line. Mitchell Robinson, by the way, starting to hit some of his free throws. I talked about Tatum not yet having a signature game in this series, and really so far in the playoffs as well. But Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks pick him up for the Knicks series and for the Cavaliers if they can get there, if the Cavaliers can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But it's just interesting that Karl Anthony Towns, and I don't know what it is, and I really don't want to find out, and I don't think Celtic fans want to find out either. But this is a guy who's absolutely capable of 30 and 20. Not that he takes plays off or disappears on the floor, but sometimes the shot selection is a little off maybe. Tatum in the Game 3 victory against Orlando had 36. And then had 37. He had 3 great games. 23 and 13 in the first 2 games of the series, both losses against the Knicks. And ending up with 22 points. Great percentage from the three-point line. 5 of 9, but 8 of 20 overall and just 1 free throw attempt. So, again, got inside. Couple times, shot clock winding down, or still with plenty of time on the clock, electing to take shots with a defender right there. But again, I'd like to see Tatum, Game 4, 30-plus. I think that ends up with a victory for the Celtics. And if they win Game 4, it's 2-2 going back to Boston for Game 5, which would be Wednesday night. I don't know the crowd's going to be the crowd at Madison Square Garden. They're going to be into it. But again, Monday night compared to, and I know I'm harping on this, but Monday night compared to a Friday or even a late Saturday afternoon, and maybe the schedule makers helped the Celtics out where it was a late afternoon game. It wasn't a 7 or 8 o'clock start, or they might have been even more raucous. But I really do think it could quite possibly, hedging my bet a little bit there, that Game 4 on a Monday night in New York could benefit the Celtics. Am I grasping there? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Wrap up with some more of your comments. Sebastian, I wish JB could play with the Brunson rules. He should have 15 free throws. Brunson plays very physical. He kind of, I saw Al Horford kind of go flying. There were a couple of times. I didn't see the replay. I may have left the room for a moment away from the TV. There are a couple times in this game, and I love Jalen Brunson. Covered the Mavericks a few years ago on their radio network, and I love Brunson. I really did. And, it was kind of obvious he was going to end up in New York. That's where he wanted to go, and he went there. But he gets a little chippy. He gets bumped around an awful lot. Very physical for his size. But he'll mix it up as well. And Horford all of a sudden is on the ground, and Horford got up, and he's basically talking to the official, but what he was saying was for Jalen Brunson, who wasn't that far away. And on the ABC broadcast, they're like, these are 2 of the nicest guys going in the NBA. Lauren Jackson. I think it's Lauren. If it's not, I apologize. Pritchard, please come through again. You know what? He did, big time, and they needed it. And Cornette, in his time on the floor, also did a nice job. He played just under 10 minutes. He had 6 points, couple of rebounds, kept some possessions alive, and had a block shot, and knew that, hey, I've got to use my fouls here. And again, Mitchell Robinson knocked down a handful of free throws, a handful. He was still 4 of 12 from the free throw line, and the Celtics, with this, the way they're going about it as part of their game plan, executed better. So Game 4. 1 tie, no lead changes. Celtics win wire-to-wire 115-93, led by as many as 31. Again, that was on multiple occasions in that third quarter. 5 players in double figures. You'll take that. I gave you the assist total. I love that number, 23, to go with just 8 turnovers. Take care of the basketball and share the basketball. Do it again Monday, and you're 2-2 in this series going back to Boston for a game number 5. And then if you win game 5, you win 3 in a row. You've got 2 chances to close it out. And you go up 3-2 in this series. The way it's kind of played out, if you can win 3 straight, you come back to New York, there's a possibility if you're up 3-2 that you can close out and win all 3 games in New York. Now, did you put yourself in a hole? Absolutely. Do you want to do that again in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers or Cavaliers? Absolutely not. Do you want to do that in the NBA Finals against possibly OKC, maybe Denver? No, you don't. You don't want to put yourself in this situation, and you're not out of the hole yet because you could easily go back to Boston for game 5, down 3-1, and your season, your playoff season, on the line. So we'll be with you within minutes of the final buzzer Monday night for game 4. Hopefully we're talking about the Celtics evening this series up at 2 games apiece. We've had a lot of Knicks fans on board with us on the Locked On Celtics postcast over the first 3 games. Hey, glad you're with us. So far, I commend everyone. It's been civil. Keep it that way. But Knicks fans right now, you got to be a little worried that you're falling down big. You've come back twice, unable to do it on your home floor with the Celtics winning game 3 and now down 2-1 in the series with game 4 again Monday night. Celtics a good victory. I have to feel good about it. Locked On Sports Boston, number 1 place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team. Your Celtics looking for a 2nd straight NBA title every day.